Hey there, beading friends. This is Kristen Fagan here with a new episode of Free Spirit Beading on the Softflex Company's Facebook page and YouTube channel. I'm also live in the Softflex VIB studio group and the Great Bead Extravaganza group. So hello everyone. Give you a few minutes to kind of join me here while I assess what we're going to be playing with. I know that we had daylight savings time yesterday, and for most of the country, you change your time. Here in Arizona, we do not. So for any of my Arizona friends, I'm actually on an hour earlier than usual, but for everybody else that does change their clocks, I'm on at the same time. So, how's everyone doing out there? You ready for spring? Did anyone catch Sarah on Jewel School for JTV this morning? She was on there around 7:30 a.m. Pacific time. And we shared the broadcast over on the Softflex Company Facebook page. I also shared a link in our email. So if you didn't catch it, you should be able to watch the replay. Sarah's live around the 45-minute mark, and she did an excellent job talking about Softflex beading wire and lots of different ways and how you can use our wire and answering questions. And then, of course, they have some special items for sale that's just available for JTV. Zach did. Oh, yay. Were you up bright and early, or did you watch the replay? I watched the replay. Hi, Norma. Yeah, she had bubble necklace projects, which are always a lot of fun to make. I haven't made one like that in a little while. I like to do those with bead soups a lot because you can kind of play with the beads and put like 2 or 3 beads on each little circle and just kind of mix them all up. So I always have fun with bead soups, making those types of necklaces. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Big Boy from Virginia and Big Boy Lyric. Hi, Gail, Natalie, and a couple of people joining me from the group that I can't see who you are. It just says Facebook user, but hi from Cali. Love you. Oh, love you too. A couple people saying they did see the replay. Oh, Zach was up bright and early. Good for you. I mean, okay. So I was up. I won't say it was bright. I was up dark and early, but I went back to sleep because my kids, they went on a cruise with their nanny. So they left the house at 3:30 a.m. this morning. So we had to get up. We all had to get up at 3. Some people need to eat breakfast in the morning. Some people don't, so we got up at 3. Everyone was out of the house by 3:40, dropped them off at the airport. They were flying to LA, and then they were getting on the boat. That's my mother-in-law, that's Bert's mom, and she's cruised lots of times, and the kids went once from a really long time ago when they were like 6 months and like 4, I think is how old they were. So they really didn't remember it, and they had always asked to go with her. And so finally for spring break, they're on spring break right now. They got to go on a trip. So it should be really, really nice. I hope everyone has a good time and behaves themselves for their nanny. They're headed to Catalina Island and then over to Ensenada, Mexico, and then they'll be back. So just a quick, I think it's a 4-day cruise. Hi, Becky. Natalie says, your necklace from the Galentine looks lovely on you. Thank you. I was Oh, that's Dawn Pratt saying hi from California. My friend Dawn is in California for spring break. Also, she's over in the San Diego, Coronado area. Hey, Dawn. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Becky. Zach says, ooh, I just got home from a cruise ship to the Bahamas, 4 days and nights. Fantastic. Yeah, the Bahamas is kind of a pretty big trek for us on the West Coast. But if you're on the East Coast, I know that's a great, easy cruise to take. Lots of fun. Catalina is lovely. You know, I was going to go last year. We went to LA with my parents during the summer, and that was on my list of maybe going to check out Catalina Island. And we just didn't make it over there. So they will have to report back to me how it was, and maybe we'll go. I'll get to see it on a future trip to that area. So fun. Spring break, so it's quiet in my house. I don't have anyone to pick up, no one to drive around. I drive a lot. I'm always driving around to take the kids places, especially my youngest is going to symphony or a concert or volunteer work or so many things. So it's going to be like such a break for me this week to just be able to be at home and have a slower schedule, and I'm really looking forward to that. So maybe there'll be a lot more time for creativity. I think there will. So that's always fun. All right, so what's going on at Softflex Company? We've got Sarah that was on Jewel School this morning, and then we've got on Wednesday we have a beading party with Tracy from TierraCast, and then we've got a Wonderland after party. So those of you that purchased the Wonderland kit, we are doing a Zoom after party on Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. You should have received an email on Friday. I sent that out personally, although I do know there are some emails that for whatever reason, like maybe you unsubscribed or maybe you don't accept emails outside of your contacts or whatever your setup is. I know there are some emails on that list that just wouldn't allow me to send it. So if you did get a kit and you want to be included in the Zoom link and you did not get my email on Friday, just send me an email, Kristen at softflexcompany.com. That's Kristen at softflexcompany, all spelled out, .com. Send me a message and I'll make sure to try and like reply to it with the details so that you have it for Wednesday. But that's really all I can do. So very excited to do that. I think I'm going to be able to join you all this time since, like I said, usually I have to do some driving on Wednesday and Wednesday evening. And with the time change, I think I can actually make it. So I'm looking forward to joining you all for that Zoom after party. And then what else do we have going on? We've got a new live sale to save the date on for next week. Not this coming Tuesday, but next Tuesday, the 21st. We actually pushed it back. If you had it on your calendar for tomorrow, just make a note that it's actually changed now to next Tuesday. So I'm going to be making a button ring with some things I picked up from one of our live sales. So I'm excited to show you that. And I was kind of, I was thinking about playing with these flower beads, but it's just not in the cards for today's video. But I did want to show them to you all anyway, and maybe I'll play with them next week. So the sale that we have going on right now at softflexcompany.com is 20% off of all beading wire. So that is all of our brands: Softflex Original, Soft Touch Premium, Extreme, Econoflex, Pro Econoflex, and the Trios beading wire packs. So anything, if you go to our shop beading wire section, that category, anything in that category will be 20% off when you add it to your cart. It's not good for any other order discounts, and it is something you don't need a coupon for. It'll just automatically show up. And it's good until tomorrow, March 14th, ends at midnight Pacific time. Sarah showed these strands on Jewel School. Oh, she did. I only caught the first few minutes, probably the first like 5 or 10 minutes of her on there. So I probably didn't get to the point where she was just talking about our wire and answering some questions. I didn't get to the point where she was showing off beads. So these are the littler flower beads. They're so pretty. They're like two-tone color. This is the blue and purple with some copper on there. And this one is the green with a little bit of a dark blue. So it's like a dark blue, and I think it's a dark blue bead with glass bead with a little bit of that green metallic on top. Pretty pretty. And then here is an orange and gold, or orangey red and gold. So pretty. I was thinking of pairing this one. Was it that one? No, it was this one. I was thinking of pairing these two together because I liked the shininess of the orange with the matte of this strand. So these are the square flowers and these are the little flowers. These have like a travertine on them and then a bit of a blue in the center, like a turquoise kind of blue. Hey, question. Excuse me. I might have to go get a cup of water. Question on travertine. Are you like pro travertine or not? I'm curious because personally I love it, but I know it's not for everyone. So are you pro travertine or no travertine? I'm going to go grab a glass of water. I'll be right back. Gail says pro. I love it too. I mean, sometimes I like it more than others, but usually I really like it because I feel like it just gives that kind of neat earthy look to it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't know. We have some, if you go to our Czech Glass beads section, you'll see that some of them have travertine listed, and then you'll have an idea of what it is I'm talking about. Oh, I had the window open in my studio before, and I think it's making me cough a little bit. So in the I think these two would be considered that they've got some travertine on them. This one's really, really pretty. This one's just more of a clear glass with the emerald. It's got like an olive green flower with a turquoise color on top. Oh, it's so lovely. All right, so those are the flowers. Here's a really pretty pink one. And maybe we'll play with those next week. And then these are the rainbow beads, which they are a soft, like earthy tone of rainbow. Just so you know, they're not like super bright rainbow. They're more of an earthy tone. And these have some travertine, like this one here has travertine on it. Just gives it like a little earthiness, adds a little bit of brown, which I really like. And I asked this because, you know, Sarah and I work together to pick out things for kits and stuff. And I'm always pro travertine and she's always not. So I was like, I need to ask everyone, what do you all think? Is it sort of sometimes, depending on what it is, you know, depending on what you're working with? I know they are also pretty. So I'm going to be working with the Softflex craft wire today. I got myself some rose gold. A few weeks ago, I was working with wire and I realized that rose gold was a color I didn't have any of. And so now I got it in all of the gauges. You can use 22 gauge or 20 gauge. I first learned to make a ring with the 20 gauge, and it does give you a bit of a heftier finished product. So if that's what you're looking for, go with the 20. But then I started working with the 22 and I kind of liked that. So that's what I'm going to use today. I want to do some wrapping kind of down and around the edge. I'd love to be able to do this wrapping all the way around. I just haven't done it yet on any of the rings that I've done. But I feel like this doing the wrapping will be a lot better with 22 rather than 20. But if you just want to do a few wraps up at the top towards the button and leave the bottom plain like I did here, then 20 will work really well. And you might like that heavier gauge. So that's a little bit up to you, but I'm going to work with 22 gauge. 22 is a little bit softer and a little bit easier to work with. So it is nicer if you've never done anything like this before. It's a little more forgiving. Aren't these buttons pretty? So this one, they're all from a live sale. So we sometimes do Czech Glass trunk shows on the buttons, and they all have kind of a shank like that on the back. They're vintage button molds. I love this one. Oh my gosh, I love that one so much. And then, I mean, look at how cool this is. I think this was the one Sarah sent me because she was like, I want you to make a ring out of this because it's nice and big and really like a showstopper. And this one's got a lot of really pretty colors going on. So here's the one I made myself. I made it big enough to fit on my middle finger since it's kind of really large and in charge. I sometimes like to wear it on this finger too. This one was one of our little tiara cast buttons, and they work great for making a ring too. So any button will really do. I will say that some of these kind of are a little more wobbly than others, depending on how high up the shank is. See, that shank's a little bit flatter, so it probably will sit without as much wobble. This one's up on a little bit of a ledge, so this might have a little more wobble. So just something to be to know. And I know it's kind of fun. I think when you have a ring this big, it not wobbling is probably hard to do. So we've got our buttons, we've got our 22 gauge craft wire, and I've got a pair of nylon jaw pliers to straighten out my wire. I have a pair of flush cutters, and I have just a bent nose plier, or you can use a chain nose plier. And I just use this to sometimes help me squish in the spirals if I need it. And you are going to need either a ring mandrel or some sort of dowel to wrap the craft wire around. That'll help you come up with your size. I have even just used like the top of a nail polish bottle before. I think when I did my first one ever, that's what I used because I didn't have any type of mandrel or dowel. And So you can always try that and see if it fits, or just to practice making some and then get yourself a dowel later if you like the process. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I think I'll do silver with this one. And if we have time, I might do I was thinking the rose gold with this one. But let's do the really big one first. I don't know if we have any going in the live sale that's coming up, but we do have these kind of buttons regularly. I think we might have some because we do them like a trunk show. So if we keep them for a couple of sales in a row, and then if there's anything that just doesn't sell, we can send it back. And then in a couple of future sales, we get a new batch. I'm going to cut 30 inches of my craft wire. Just cut 30 inches off the spool. Hey, Maria. I see you joined us over on a different page so that we could see you. I'm just going to hold my wire in between my pliers, and using the nylon jaw pliers, I'm going to run it all the way down the length to straighten it out. And I'll do that in another, I'll flip it around and do it again, holding it from a different direction. Now 30 inches is a lot of wire to work with, so it's springing back a little bit right now. Wearing safety glasses or something is a good idea. So you don't hit yourself. So I'm going to take my button and I'm going to string it on and find the center. And I'm looking at the way this is, because if I do it this way, well, that's kind of fun. But if you want it to be this way, since the shank is actually having this button run in this direction, if you wanted to change the direction, then you'll just have to kind of wrap your wires around once. But I think I'll make it easy on myself and just go with the way the shank is going. Hey, Kim, welcome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and find my size. So if I want to put this in on my middle finger, that's my largest finger, and it's quite big. It's a size 10, which is really hard to find when I go ring shopping. So I think it's really, I love that I can make my own rings because it's totally hard to find otherwise. I'm using Softlex craft wire 22 gauge in the non-tarnished silver plated. And I cut 30 inches of that. So with that said, you're going to want to go up one size if you're just going to do some coils a little bit on the side and leave the back straight like this. However, I was practicing doing coils all the way around, and I found I might even need to go up 2 sizes, because with those coils, like you see on this ring here, with those coils, it's going to make your ring a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go up to a size 12 to start, because I'm going to try and do coils all the way around. So I'm going to take one side, try and hold my button in place, take one side, wrap my wire around, and then take the other side and wrap it in the opposite direction. I'm going to go above on one and below on the other so that they're kind of going in opposite directions. One is above the shank, one is below the shank. And I see I got a little bit not like really centered anymore. So I'm going to try and pull a little bit more wire this way. And see if I'm closer to being centered again. Close enough. And then I'm going to check on my dowel where my numbers are so that I can get back down to my number 12. I'm going 2 sizes above. And now I'm going to take this one, which is on the bottom, and I'm going to wrap it around the button and bring it back out. And then I'm going to take this one, which is on the top, and I'm going to wrap it in the opposite direction around the button shank and back to where it was. So if you look at it now, I've got the 3 wires around the dowel, and then I've got some loops around the button shank. And I think I'm going to do that one more time in each direction. So I'm going to take the top one, go down and around, and pull it out. And then I'll take the bottom one, go up and around, and pull it back out. And now I can go ahead and remove my ring from the dowel. And let's just see how it starts. How it's going to look. Oh my gosh. How fun is that? That's super wild. I hope it'll stay fitting on that finger when I tighten it up. Okay, so now what I'll do, and Karen says, what are we making today? A ring? Yes, we're making a ring. We're using Czech Glass buttons. These are from Vintage Button Molds, and I got these during the Softflex live sales, and that's what Jan is saying too, that she has tons of buttons from Softflex live sales. To use them as her closer for bracelets. Now she can make rings. I know, I love it. I really like I've got a little bag here. So these are some of my other buttons. And although the small ones are cute as rings too, I tend to like these for closures in that size. And then I think it's fun to kind of really go big with the big button. Oh, it would make a beautiful earring. Karen says that would make a beautiful earring. That would be so cool. That would be totally 80s earring, wouldn't it? I love it. 80s, early 90s. All right, so let me take another sip of water and then we'll do the next step. Okay, so now I'm just going to take one of these sides, and this one is, we'll call this coming out of the top. So because it's coming out of the top, I'm just going to pull it towards me. And this way I can get it close to the shank. I'm pulling that wire towards me, and then I'm going to go in through the hole that I made, my ring hole, and pull it through. So it's wrapping around those wires. We're using Softflex craft wire in 22 gauge. I'm using the non-tarnished silver plated. You can also use 20 gauge if you want it to be a bit heftier. And now I'm just going to keep wrapping around my ring. And I'm getting my coils close together. Now I've done ring making with 20 inches of wire, and that's because I will do a few coils and then stop and then just leave the bottom part just straight like this. And I should say, because I went around twice, I've got 2 wires on the bottom here. If you went around your dowel more times, you can get more. I think on this one, I went around 4 times. So you can kind of play with that too. But I'm going to try and go and coil all the way around this time and see what that looks like. So I started with 30 inches of wire for this ring. And your size will change too. Like this is a very large size ring. I have a size 10 for my middle finger. And so I'm using more wire for that reason too. Just gonna twist that. And I learned this technique from James's video originally. He did a rose ring that was just wire. And he kind of did it in a very similar way. And I've now taken it and used it for, I've used those rose beads that you sometimes get in our mixes and made a ring from that. And then I've used the metal tiara cast buttons, and I've used these Czech Glass buttons. And I've also done that really large quartz crystal ring that was a few weeks ago. Oh, maybe it was, I think it was last month. I did that with the same technique too. So you can do a lot of different beads just using the same format. It does. My nail polish goes with the ring. I actually had to change my nail polish twice today because I have quite a few colors that are getting like that tackiness, you know, where they just don't dry right anymore. I'll try and just scooch some of these coils together. And so I tossed out a couple of colors this week because we can't have tacky colors, because once you start working with wire, it's just going to rip it right off. That's a good question. Is it Kolibi? She's asking Jan, what is the smallest millimeter size button you would like to use for a closure? And Jan replied, I have used as small as 11 millimeters. I've used a super tiny one once. I think it was probably, oh gosh. I want to say it was maybe like 5 millimeters, 4 or 5 millimeters. It was really, really small. But I was just doing like a soft flex closure, and soft flex wire is pretty thin. So it was kind of nice. It was on a macrame design. And I think I didn't put any beads on the wire. I just let it be the wire. So I was thinking, I always do these in the center I always do these buttons in the center of the wire, but it actually might be good to do one side shorter and one side longer so that you can continue your wrapping with the longer side all the way. Just so you don't kind of stop down here, you know, like I just had to. So I might try that with my next one. So I've got half of the ring wrapped now. What do you guys think of that? What do you think of that compared to just doing a partial? I guess I'll have to see how comfortable it is compared to the one I have here. But I like the look. I feel like it kind of feels finished in a nice way. So now I'm going to do my other side, and I'm trying to get my wire nice and close to that shank for my first wrap. And I might even just straighten it out a little bit since it got a little wonky. Kim says, that is a statement ring for sure, right? I always make them for my right hand too, which is probably not the best idea because then I'm trying to do everything with my right hand and I have this big ring. Whoops. But I think it'll also fit on this finger, possibly, as well. Look at it being so stubborn over here in this little corner. So I'm using my pliers to kind of whip it in shape. I'm trying to start it very close to the shank too, so that it has less room for movement, so it doesn't like bobble quite as much. Adriana says she likes it better. Feels like a more finished look. Becky says, it seems like it would be more comfortable if you did the wrap all the way to the other side. That's what I'm thinking too. Whenever I leave it and I just do the coils, then it's really good to center it. Because then you can do your coils down each side. Maybe you do, 5 of them or 10 of them down each side. And you want to make sure you have an even amount of wire. But if you're going all the way around, I agree. I think it would be more comfortable if I have one long strand on one side, and that's the strand that's doing all of the wrapping. Oh, Becky says she just grabbed some buttons out of her aunt's button stash to do this with. Oh, that's so nice. And then you can think of your aunt whenever you wear it. It's funny how the one side was so much was almost like it was more warmed up or something. Let me hold it in a different direction now. I was holding it. Let me hold it this way and see if I go a little bit quicker. Zach is saying it makes the ring band stronger when the wrapping is the entire base. Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely gone back in with my dowel and like reshaped some of my rings. So I can see how having the wrapping all the way around will make it a little bit. And if you decide to go up, like if you go up to a 20 gauge, it'll be stiffer. Becky says she had some really cool vintage buttons. That's awesome. Buttons are such like, I don't know, they're just, you know, like they are super interesting. You can use them for so many different things. Yeah, that is going a little more smoothly now that I changed my direction. Do you guys hear my dog, my little dog snoring? I don't know how loud that is for all of you and if you can hear her. Jan says, I cannot hear your dog over my cat purring. Aw. Happy cat. Happy kitty. She was up at 3 with all of us too. So she's like, what is going on this morning? That's usually my mother-in-law comes over to watch our dogs while we go away. So I'm sure she was thinking that we were leaving, not just my mother-in-law and the kids. She was probably like, oh my gosh, they're all leaving now. What's going on? I can't remember the last time that we had a house for a whole week with neither of my children. I mean, because usually if they are doing something, one will go away or the other. Or if they were to sleep over at grandma's house, it would just be for like a night or something. Oh, good question, Maria. Maria says, speaking of pets, how many of you have created beaded collars for your pet? Oh my gosh, if you have, I would love to see them. Post them in the Softflex VIB studio group and tag me because I have never done that for any of my pets. And I'm curious if you have and what they look like. Okay, so I have made it up to my other one. I've got a little bit of wire to spare, and I might just try and tighten this little spot right here. And now I've got a little bit of space to clean up. Go ahead and really get this little piece, my little and trim that off, and then tuck that wire in, and tuck in my other little wire too. It's perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put it back on to my mandrel and just sort of straighten it out a little bit. And I can also see where it's sized. So I don't think, can you see that? So I'm just a little bit larger than a 10 right now. And I had wrapped it for the 12. So 2 sizes, it drops down. If you're not going to do the wrapping all the way around, then 1 size, it drops down. But if you are going to try and do the wrapping all the way around, it's going to drop down. It's going to drop 2 sizes. And I'm so excited that this fits that finger perfect. And because it is a little bit flatter, it's not quite as wobbly as my other round one. Oh, it's so pretty. Will you guys try this? It's so pretty. I love how it's sparkly without being like sparkly. You know what I mean? Like it's not glitter or crystal sparkly, but it's still very, very sparkly. I love it. So here's the little one. That one's in metal, and here's the big one. And now I have to try it. Now I have to try this one. Maybe I'll make this one to fit a different finger. This one I loved because A, it's green, and B, it looks like a turtle shell to me. And so that was like, so I thought that one was cool. But I will say this one does have a little bit more of a little bobble. And one of the things I noticed is, oh, did I freeze there for a second? There we go. One of the things I noticed is that I probably could have wrapped my wires, my coiling closer to the shank on this one. And this way it wouldn't move as much. And that's why I tried to get really close on this one. And I do think having one side longer where you can just wrap it all the way and not have to kind of connect down here would be better. I'm not feeling my, I got to tuck that in a little bit more. I'm not feeling where it ends that much, but I think it'll look cleaner if I had just one all the way around. A little wire and a button. Voila. Instant wearable art. So cool. Jan says, gorgeous. Becky says, it's such an awesome ring. Yes, it has more of a pearlized look, like a wonderful shimmer on there. Becky says, rings on all your fingers like you're Prince John in the Disney Robin Hood, right? Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Look at this one. This one's kind of wild too. That's got a lot of color going on. So many choices. So now you all have a super fun ring tutorial to add to your list of wonderful fun things you can do with Softflex craft wire. And the next time you see these buttons, especially these larger buttons for sale in the Softflex live sale, you know what you can do with them. Oh, I was gonna do 2, but I'm out of time. I spent way too long wrapping all the way around. Ginny is going through her mom's button jars. Awesome. Jack says, fun button ring. You're welcome, darling. Thank you for being here with me today. Oh, I love it. Of course, I'm now going to wear it for the rest of the day. Oh, here, we can see what it looks like away from the camera too. Isn't that great? So much fun. Darling. All right, so we've got beading wire on sale till tomorrow, 20% off of everything. We do have a quantity sale on the craft wire. So our quantity sale is sometimes there, sometimes not. Just depends on what else we have going on and whether or not the product is ready for sale in some other way. But since craft wire is not on sale, you can do the quantity discount, which is 8 or more spools, mix and match colors, mix and match gauges, and just add 8 or more to your cart and you'll get 20% off of all of the craft wire. So pretty sweet. We've got mostly round, but we do have half round and square. So if you like those shapes as well for things like cabochons and other kinds of wire wrapping, you can grab, you can mix and match that. Or if you've never tried it, throw it in and get up to your 8 or more spools and you'll get 20% off. And then you can get 20% off of all beading wire. And that is any amount of beading wire. So just 1 spool, multiple spools, you get 20% off of that. Trios counts as 1. So that would get 20% off. And what else? And then we've got a beading party happening this week. So join us on Wednesday for a beading party at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And then right after that at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, we'll have the Wonderland Zoom after party. So you should have that information in your email if you purchased a kit. If you did not get it for some reason or it got caught, like check your spam. Then just reach out to me, Kristen, Kristen, at softflexcompany.com, and I will go ahead and send you that Zoom link to join us. I don't know. Kalidi's saying, did you know when you join the wires together at the bottom, you can entwine your wire wrap coils together? Wrap the new coil between the 2 previous coils and repeat as needed. Oh, that's neat. I didn't know. Thank you for sharing with me. Jan just got her live sale package in the mail today. Woohoo! I'm sure that is full of some goodies. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you all for being here. Go check out your button collections, see what you've got, see what you've got to use, find something special and fun, and make yourself a fun button ring and share it with me over in the Softflex VIB studio because I love to see what you all are making. So be sure to go ahead and snap a photo and share it with us over there. All right, until next time, you guys all have a wonderful week. I will see you next Monday for another episode of Free Spirit Beading at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Same bat place, same bat channel. Bye.